Even though there are still 6 races left to go in this Formula One season, Max Verstappen has already earned his first match point. It was initially difficult to recognize the Dutchman's increasing control over the campaign, since it developed slowly and silently. However, his authority is now so overwhelming that it is impossible to ignore. This is everything that we have learned up to this point. To begin, let's take a look at an overview of the subject. An extremely slim chance of success. For this deal to go through, Verstappen would need to win and Leclerc to finish no better than 8th. If he doesn't win on Sunday, he still has until next Sunday to keep his lead of 112 points or more to take home the trophy in Japan. Sergio Perez is also mathematically still in the running, but a victory for Verstappen with the Mexican finishing 4th or lower would eliminate him. If he wins the championship this weekend, with only 5 rounds remaining, he will tie Nigel Mansell for second in the all-time list of races when the tournament was won. Only Michael Schumacher, who won the 2002 season by 6 points, has been more dominant. He needs 2 more victories to tie Schumacher and Sebastian Vettel's record of 13 triumphs in a single season. 4 more consecutive wins would tie Vettel's norm of 9 straight victories. When Verstappen came to a sputtering halt at the Australian Grand Prix all those months ago, the odds of any of these happening this year were slim at best. All of this adds up to a very successful season for Verstappen, which is all the more remarkable considering how close he was to coming out on the losing end of a monumental scrap with Lewis Hamilton last year. His newfound superiority can be attributed to 3 factors: his self-assurance, his vehicle, and his opponents. Next up, Verstappen's confidence behind the wheel has grown. Even before this year's cars, constructed to new technical specs, hit the track, Verstappen was prepared for a record-breaking season. Due to their size, weight, and unique downforce approach, they necessitate a specific driving style. This could have misled Verstappen's aggressive driving style. Quick, think afterward. According to Test Track spectators, the Dutchman's driving style changed considerably from the outset. He brakes early and maintains a high minimum speed at the apex to keep the car in its sweet zone. His stronger driving instincts and time to recover from the 2021 title fight are on display. Red Bull Racing Team principal Christian Horner told GP fans that winning the title freed him. First-time global champion. That's in his resume. His modifications are gravy. For a 24-year-old, he's matured and gained experience, and he's handled difficulty well. Overall, he's improving. Some of that, you could argue, is due to a lack of pressure, as this season is not comparable to 2021. He didn't hold back when asked about his car's reliability after withdrawing twice in the first 3 races and having a radio meltdown in the middle of the Spanish Grand Prix. Even though a competitive title race was predicted at the start of the season, his tactics have changed, especially while racing Leclerc. Verstappen in 2022 is a more mature, advanced version of the firebrand of former seasons, whether owing to a shift in his temperament or because last season boosted his pressure threshold. Moving on, the development battle is won by Red Bull Racing. With Verstappen at the wheel, Red Bull has championship caliber machinery. The Red Bull Racing Team's vehicle took an entire year to perfect, but it is currently the fastest in the race. Not always. The RB18 has been among the fastest cars throughout the season, but until the summer break, the Ferrari was the most formidable adversary. Milton Keynes overcame the challenge. Verstappen won 3 of the last 5 races after starting 10th, 14th, or 7th. This demonstrates the car is superior in every way. Because Verstappen has won on several circuits in recent races, efficiency has been critical to his success. This includes developing an aerodynamic package to reduce downforce. The RB18 weighed 798 kilos. The vehicle's overall performance improves as new, lighter components are installed. The team has denied suggestions that it will race with a lightweight chassis this weekend. A lightweight chassis would improve Max Verstappen's driving style and agility. The Dutchman likes quick cars with direct and responsive steering and a light rear end. Oversteering vehicles have a greater theoretical performance limit. Larger automobiles with less effective aerodynamics tend to understeer more at low speeds. Because of the team's efforts to minimize the car's mass, the team can make setup options that make the vehicle pointier and allow Max Verstappen to flourish. He is well behind Sergio Perez this year. Perez was able to keep up with and even occasionally beat Verstappen at the start of the season when the RB18 was understeering. Following that, no agreement has been reached. That's driver and vehicle coverage. Verstappen's record-breaking season lacks just competition. Leclerc has pushed hard to catch Verstappen, but he's fighting a brutal struggle in a Ferrari that's falling behind the pack due to poor reliability and strategy errors. Verstappen and Leclerc have similar reputations in Formula One. Verstappen started the season as the defending champion, but he's had as much to gain or lose as everyone else. That battle was unique. Hamilton was a 7-time winner and could have broken the record. Verstappen and Hamilton had similar sentiments, and the psychological impact is still felt today. Hamilton avoided discussing Verstappen's achievements this year. ESPN quotes him as saying, "I'm more impressed with Adrian Newey and his colleagues. They did well." Horner said it was an illustration of last year's pointless rivalry. "Charles is certainly viewed differently," he stated on F1 Nation. "They respect each other because they raced as kids. Lewis has never praised Max before, so I'm betting there was an additional needle. Both drivers were hostile." Given Horner's part in raising tensions last year and Verstappen's role in establishing the tone, the remark is dishonest, but the premise is genuine. Verstappen has performed better without last year's challenge. The Dutchman is a potential double champion and a new benchmark for the tournament. The rest of the team has until next season to compete. Next up, George Russell will start from the pit lane after a power unit change. Because George Russell needs a new power unit, he will begin the Singapore Grand Prix from the pit lane. This is because he used up all the engine parts allocated to him. Even though Mercedes altered his power unit, Russell qualified in 11th place at the Marina Bay circuit. However, he would begin the race at the back of the grid. The British race car driver had a successful first season as Lewis Hamilton's teammate, finishing in the top 5 of every race he took part in. His season began in 2018. After collecting the penalty, it will be difficult for Russell to sustain his remarkable record of success. After being passed over for a position in Q3 by Kevin Magnussen of Haas, the 24-year-old driver apologized to his crew over the team radio, saying, "I want to offer my most sincere apologies for the inconvenience. The scenario is a completely accurate representation of what takes place." On Sunday, Charles Leclerc of Ferrari will start the race from the front row of the grid, followed by Sergio Perez of Red Bull in 2nd place and Lewis Hamilton of Mercedes in 3rd place. As a result of an error in fueling on the part of Red Bull, Max Verstappen will begin the race in 8th place. If the Dutch driver wants to win his 2nd title in this competition, he must finish 1st in the next 5 rounds and capture the checkered flag. Finally, Marta Garcia takes the pole position in Singapore after the season is shortened due to rain. Because of the potentially hazardous conditions, the qualifying session in Singapore was reduced to 13 minutes. As a result, Marta Garcia will start the game on Sunday in the position generally assigned to the first player. Despite the torrential rain, the first few minutes of the W Series practice session were spent with participants vying for track positions on the Singapore street circuit. They also attempted and succeeded in doing an early fast lap despite having less grip. On the other hand, Marta Garcia was hot on her heels and finished in 2:30.762 seconds, good for provisional pole place. Jamie Chadwick had a strong lap shortly before the halfway point, but she was forced to slow down due to traffic in the last sector, dropping her to 7th place and leaving her with more work. Jamie Chadwick put in a strong lap shortly before the halfway mark. Because of the continuing rain, a red flag was raised 17 minutes before the competition ended. Certain drivers, most notably Emma Kymäläinen, had difficulties retaining their grip on their vehicle's tires when driving in a straight line at the time. There were only a few minutes left on the clock when we continued our chat from where we had left. However, after only a few minutes, the danger signal, a red flag, was hoisted again, since the weather was still causing problems. As a result, Chadwick had more work to do in the race on Sunday, giving Garcia her greatest chance to win the competition up to this date. Well, that marks the end of our video for today. We hope you loved and enjoyed it. On your way out, make sure you hit that subscribe button for more content like this in the future. Thanks for watching.